So each zodiac has a dominant energy center. For Leo, it's the crown chakra. So the crown chakra is the top of your head, the crown chakra. And so what happens when your crown chakra is overactive? So just because it's overactive doesn't mean it's overly open. It can still mean that it's blocked. It's blocked because it's overactive. You're too much in your head. And so ego is very active when a person is too much in their head and not very grounded. And so we're in Leo season. So it is a highly active, egoic time, and people are getting triggered very easily. People's wounded egos are being called to being dissolved, but if they haven't done the proper work to do what needs to be done in order to dissolve the ego, then they're being triggered. So judging comes up. You start judging. And I've been there. I went to a very prestigious Catholic school. My mom had to get financial assistance in order for me to go to this school, because the public school that I was going to, there was so many problems there, fires in the bathroom, etc. And, being new in this country, it really scared her, and the level of education seemed like it was just not in line with where I came from. And so I didn't feel like I was benefiting from that school. And so I went to this really strict Catholic school. And when some people go, oh my God, past lives aren't real, I only believe in Jesus, I'm like, I read the Bible for 4 years. This is a whole another separate episode I'm going to have to do. And I have some funny reels that I'll be posting about all of that. And I've had very religious clients who don't believe in past lives, and I've been able to do very powerful healing for them. But the point why I'm bringing this up, I went to school with kids. The majority of them were middle class and then upper class. And there was like a handful of us who were like just struggling to get by. And so even though we wore uniforms, you could still tell who the wealthy kids were because of their shoes. And then when they turned 16, because of the cars they drove. I remember when I bought my first car, my grandmother helped me out mostly, and I saved up babysitting money. And I think it was like $1,500 or $1,200 and $1,900. It was under $2,000. And I bought this car with the help of my grandmother and the money that I saved up from babysitting. And so I used to be one of those judging people because I was a kid. I didn't know any better. And I felt like something's wrong with me because, we don't have enough. We're refugees, and why do other kids get to have nice clothes, and why do I have to save up for my $3 an hour babysitting to buy, the pair of jeans that I want to buy because my mom can't afford them. So we come from all these different places. And then there are so many judgments that, the wealthy can make about their, somebody who's more wealthy. So it's the material that people get attached to, the material external gratification, possessions, but it's also having this image and having this assumption and making this judgment just because somebody has steady, comfortable, stable life and is not in need of anything, that means that they must be happy. When in fact, you don't know that kid whose car you're jealous of, whose shoes you're jealous of, may be going home and being neglected by their mom, by their dad. Maybe one of them or both of them are alcoholics. Maybe they work so much that they don't even get to spend time with their kid. So you don't know what they're going through. So you don't want to judge ever. You don't want to judge a wealthy person. You don't want to judge anyone based on their financial status, based on their certifications, etc. Obviously, you want to make a wise decision about who you want to work on you as a healer, who you want to have a therapy session with based on what they've done. That's different. I'm talking about making a judgment about someone's patterns and someone's state of being and just judging them based on external elements and assumptions. And so many of you probably didn't know that I came here as a refugee and I was wearing hand-me-down clothes and my family was on welfare. We didn't have money. And so as a little girl, the first job I could get was a babysitting job. And then as soon as I was able to walk somewhere to work an additional job, I did. And then, the summertime, a better position opened up and I did that. And so extracting the need to judge, because what's happening to your ego when you're judging another person, you feel like it's making you feel better about yourself because, oh, at least I'm not like that. Or it makes you feel, once again, activated in the wounded ego, oh, something's wrong with me because I don't have that. So we could have different examples of how you feel based on your judgment. And the judgment is all stemming from the ego. And the ego is triggered because the mind needs to know exactly what is happening and wants to protect you. And so the conscious mind is only able to remember what's already happened in this dimension in your experience. It does not know everything that's happened before. It does not remember things that happened while you were inside your mother's womb and the conversation you overheard how maybe she should consider an abortion. And so not only is the mind not aware of the subconscious patterns, because you're not creating that bridge between the conscious and the subconscious by going into the alpha state, by meditating, by bridging the gap between your right and left brains. And so because you don't have that awareness, you are functioning merely on the conscious level of what's happening right here, right now. So then people go, well, then what is it? Why is the conscious mind not a good thing? It is a good thing, but we want to go beyond it. And then people may go, well, why is awakening called, stepping into consciousness and being conscious? Because you want to be awake to everything. You want to bridge the gap from the subconscious to the conscious so that you're consciously aware of everything that is happening and consciously aware that your conscious mind, your left brain, only is here to help you with logical solutions based on what you already know in this reality. So it doesn't have all the answers. It cannot predict the future. So if you feel anxious, it's because you are operating based on your mind's idea that, hey, we don't know the future. This is an unknown. This has never happened before. Okay, you know what? Based on what we know, we are going to assume that this is what's going to happen. And you know what? Since we don't really have similar experiences, let's look at other people who did what we want to do. What happened to them? Oh, see, they got divorced. Oh, see, they failed. Oh, see, they regretted it. See, they failed. Oh, I just remembered so-and-so told me I'm not good enough. I'm never going to crack this. I'm always going to be alone. I'm never going to succeed. And so then you pile on, like the chatter, all the chit-chatting, you pile on and you start to go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then you go into fear and you're like, oh, I can't do this. They were right. And you know what? There's a sense of calm that comes over you all of a sudden. It's disturbing, but you're like, okay, so I can't do this. All right. Okay, so you know what? Let me go just, let me have a drink. Let me call a friend. Let me watch a movie. Let me unplug, because obviously I can't do this. So let's move on to the next numbing thing that I can do that is going to prevent me from even further awakening, from either further stepping into my divine life purpose, because I just know I'm not good enough. And then what happens? And then you begin to feel like a victim. Oh, I tried, didn't work. Oh, I'm just not good enough. And oh, this always happens to me. This never works out. I'm just a victim. And then you stay comfortable in that victim mentality. And then sometimes somebody goes, hey, what about this? No, I'm just going to go back to watching Netflix. I'm just going to go back to watching funny cat videos on TikTok. And you forget that fire within you is still there, still wanting you to do something. But to do something, you have to be still and you have to be with yourself, because all this doing you want to be doing may not even be exactly what you need right now. Because if you're not in tune with who you are and what you're doing in this moment and how you're even breathing, how you're sitting, are you sitting hunched over when you're looking at your phone or when you're doing this live? Or are you absorbing the information in a very relaxed way without judging yourself, without going, oh my God, that's me. Oh my God, I'm doomed. Oh my God, she's talking about me. We're here to become aware. So all this doing that you want to do will become so much easier if you just let yourself surrender and be with whatever it is you are feeling. Okay, so-and-so told me I'm not good enough. Okay. I don't feel like I can do this. Okay. Why? Why don't I feel like? Because someone told me that I can't. Because so-and-so tried and they failed. Because and then going, okay, well, is it really something that I want? Is it really something that I want? Because if you spend time with yourself and you go deeper and you tell yourself to just sit still, stop the mind chatter, focus on your breath. Like how many times I go, leave my phone, go for a walk. Yesterday, I was aiming to get to the beach by sunset so I can still enjoy some sun and then have a nice sunset run or yoga. Saw a neighbor and he was sitting by the pool and we had a conversation. And I stayed present with him. He's like, oh, aren't you trying to get to the beach? I'm like, yeah, but it's cool. I can just do a later run. It's fine. Like I didn't have to talk to him. It wasn't like I was having my boundaries crossed. I wasn't not honoring myself, but I just stayed present with him in that conversation that he shared and I shared. And then I went for my run. And yeah, it was a little bit chillier and I didn't get the sun I wanted to get, but it was fine. And the ocean was warm and I hadn't been there for probably a month, even though I'm within walking distance. But once again, certain patterns, certain things that needed to process out of my life and things that I needed to do. And I was okay with that. And instead of that, I went to the pool. Instead of the beach, I went to do a dance routine in a dance studio. I did yoga. I did whatever it is I needed to do in that moment. I didn't go, oh my God, Anna, you haven't gone to the beach. Your whole plan to live here was so that every morning you go to the beach. No. Okay, so I didn't go. Big deal. So coming back to the meditative part of everything you do, just like the beginning of the session, you witnessed me setting things up while still interacting with you, still staying present. It's what's happening. What happens when you get that weird call? What happens when someone cuts you off on the road? How do you react? How am I reacting to the fact that there's screaming children outside right now? They're having fun. They're doing what they're doing. So how do you react? Are you waiting for that perfect Zen moment to feel good? So going back to what I was saying, in that moment of stillness, in that moment of detaching from your thoughts, you then come to this understanding that whatever it is you've been chasing, whatever it is you felt like you need to do, may actually not be in your best interest. But really tuning in, not because your fear is telling you, because some people go, I meditated on it and it didn't seem aligned, but do you know that perhaps it's your fear that's lurking and your fear that's pushing you away? So, because the ego feels like you need to do something, you need to do this. I'm here to tell you that most things that are the most aligned for you are not things that you absolutely need or you think you need to do. It's the things that you are afraid of doing. It's the things that you don't feel very ready for. It's whatever it is that you've been told you can't do. So aligning and figuring that out. Is this in alignment with me? Because if you want to become an Olympic, runner and you haven't been practicing running, I'm here to tell you, you need to kind of start with that before you decide you want to get an Olympic gold medal for something. So setting your goals and expectations to align with it, whatever it is you want to align with, without staying stuck and attached to the outcome. Staying present in the moment, staying aware of what's happening and how it's happening and how are you flowing. And then in that moment of clarity, that state of calmness that you're able to bring yourself to by breathing, by focusing, you may all of a sudden have an epiphany. You may realize that, oh, I've been going about this the wrong way. Okay, so maybe this is not what's in alignment, but this other version of this, or it's something else. It's something else entirely. But you're not going to get to that. You're not going to get to whatever's in your highest and best alignment until you really sit with yourself and tune in and go deep. So why are we here to clear and activate? Because once we clear, then we're ready to activate. Because if we activate before clearing, you're not going to be able to activate that which is in your highest and best good. So I know there are several different layers I went through, and I can feel the heat rising. So I see some people saying society should give out degrees for healing, but that's not how life works.